So, welcome to this next episode of Your Music, Your Story. Today, we're talking with Ben Stewart, a.k.a. Is it Benji Phonics?
It is.
Hot diggity. Hot diggity. That's what I'm talking about. So, we'll just get started. I mean, tell us what you're up to. I mean, you're up to quite a bit, right?
Yeah, it's been a busy few years. Actually, COVID was interesting because I had just started doing this new project, and it was, everything was shut down. And so I just started writing music and making music videos. And one
Sweet.
became two, became three, and I think I'm on like video number 10 now or something like that.
Hey, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah, it was really cool. And also I have a home studio, so I was able to just record, and ended up getting, movie scoring gigs. And then I've done 2 theme songs for movies in the last couple years, and I'm working on one right now. So one of the things I'm doing now is there's a movie that's in production called Party of Darkness, and it's like a horror comedy movie. And so same group that did the movie called Xanadu Hellfire, they wanted me to do a theme song for this movie as well. So I'm working on that right now.
Okay, well, so here's a quick question. So
Yeah.
Can we play some of the music videos in here when we're going
I would
on their
love
label?
for that to happen. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's just start with that one, the Xanadu Hellfire.
Yeah.
do anyway. Xanadu, an idealized place of great magnificence and beauty.
So your other ones that you sent me, so you had an
Yeah.
EP. This one was just a single. Now, was that just
Right.
for that show or whatever, the movie?
Yeah, yeah. So about a year ago, uh, Justin Armeo, the director, contacted me and said, "Hey, I'd like you to do a cameo actually in the movie." And so I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." So I
I dig
was
it.
Mr. Hendricks, the music teacher, and so and I'm like a yellow sports coat or orange sports coat and a cowboy hat. It's weird. And while I was on set, I said, "Hey, you know, I'm kind of getting some ideas for a song. Would you like me at all to try and do something?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I want it to be rock, or whatever, kind of like Songhammer or something like that, like the previous
Yeah.
project that I was involved in." And so I was like, "Yeah, I could totally do that." And as I was driving home, I was singing into my phone, and I wrote most of the concepts, just humming into my phone. And a week later, I sent him a rough, like a demo, and he's like, "I want it. I'm paying for it. Let's do it."
Hook a brother up.
And it was a one-off, like you were saying. So I was finishing the I Got Old EP at the time, and he said, "Hey, can you sneak this in that recording session?" And I did, and then he, paid for the song and the production and the licensing, which was
Oh,
cool.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
So when you say slip that in, so you're working on your EP
right.
and you just did another one on top of it, like in the studio, or did you do it like you said at your home studio? Where'd you do
Yeah,
those?
so you got it pretty right. I basically did all the tracks at home. I did the rough demo that I sent him. Then he had some notes, so I went back. I did some changes, some edits, and then I brought all of those all the wave files into the studio and mixed it with DJ Coupon, Dave Swanson. He's Benji Phonics producer,
Oh,
and also Dave is the guy who mixed and mastered all of Songhammer's stuff, and also my previous group, Conspiracy of Thought. So I've been working with him for well over 15 years.
that's right. You're a conspiracy of thought. That's because I think you guys were looking for a drummer years ago.
Yeah,
Because
right, right.
I remember when I think it was when I moved here. I don't remember because I was playing with Dave Alarcon, and I remember I'm like, let's see what other kind of bands are out there. Maybe I'll find
Yeah,
another band,
right.
and that sounds very familiar. I
Well,
think.
we were looking for a drummer. A guy named Tony Vasquez ended up playing for us. He was in a band called Colorblind Society, and so for a while he actually played both projects, and then we just enveloped him completely at some point. And then we hit the road. We were touring regionally, and then we did some bigger tours across the country, and it was a good project. That was a 15-year stint with them.
Now, was that prior Songhammer or at the same time during that,
Uh,
or did?
it was before, so
Okay.
it was before, and then I did Songhammer when Songhammer first started. It was in 2010, and I had written a rock opera called "The Fall of Goliath." It was this big kind of concept album that became a rock opera, and a label picked it up, and then we kind of did a run of it.
Oh,
And then
nice.
during the same time as when Songhammer started, in 2011 was when Songhammer won the music competition for "We Are the Horde."
Oh, that's totally awesome.
Wisconsin, yeah. It was crazy, man. It's been a crazy ride, a musical ride.
Oh, heck yeah. We'll have to come back to those. But so on the Zondu one, so
Yeah,
you did the song. Now, did
yeah.
you just make a video for fun? Just, hey, I'm going to make a video to the song, or was that going to be part of the movie, or what was that scenario?
That's a great question. So I had done the cameo, the Xanadu Hellfire cameo, kind of the Justin Armeo had already planned on. With the song, when I sent him the song, and he was like, "Yeah, okay, yes, I love this. This is going to be the theme song for the movie." And it's really cool. The credits happen, the music's playing, and then all of a sudden you hear the song start. It's very cool. So
Does it give you goosebumps?
yeah, when he had rented out a theater, and all of like the cast and crew came, and there was a couple hundred people in the theater all watching together, and it was cool. He also licensed three other Benji Phonics songs for that movie, which was Omega Funk 10,000, I'm Not Hard, and I think it's I don't even know where I've been. And then it's also Xanadu Hellfire.
Those
And
were the older ones, right?
yeah, those are all Benji Phonics songs, and they are from the last two EPs, basically.
Okay.
I've done three EPs as Benji Phonic, but as far as the song went, it wasn't really planned. So neither was a music video, and so on a whim, I decided, I think I could do, a cheesy video where I'm all of the different musicians in the band. And then, so if you see the music video, it's like me, and I'm wearing like a black vest with no shirt on and black pants. And I think I have a big luchador mask with horns. And then I'm also wearing like some kind of like army green shirt and some kind of weird like Eskimo hat or something. And then I'm also like wearing a cowboy hat and the big glasses. And so I basically thought, okay, it would be fun if I actually did that. And I think when I'm playing the bass, I actually flip the footage so it looks like I'm left-handed.
That's the one like the pointy bit, like red pointy bass or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like a big purple bass, and those are all they're instruments I record with and all that stuff. But I just so I got a videographer real quick and said, let's do this. Let's just do something real fast. And then I contacted Justin Armeo, the director, and said, hey, I think I have a video. Would you mind if I used clips from the trailer? And he's like, absolutely. So he sent me a high res of the trailer, and then I edited it all together, and it's on the special features now of the movie. So the Blu-ray that just came out, the music video is one of the special features.
Oh, that's totally awesome.
Yeah, it's dope.
I'm just gonna assume. So there in the video there's a few desert scenes.
Right.
I'm assuming those are the ones from the movie, or
yeah,
is that...
yeah. So in the anything that's not like me, wearing some weird outfit and jumping around, it's clips from the movie. So there's like a bunch of desert stuff where they filmed out off of the 395. And they filmed there. Some of the scenes there's this old abandoned water park that's out off the 395 between like here and Vegas.
I've heard. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so they filmed there like these apocalypse scenes. It was perfect. And then they some of the location where I filmed, which was at a school, you see in the trailer as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it was
totally
fun.
awesome.
It was a lot of fun, and the movie, the look of the movie. I mean, the cinematography of this little cheap, indie film really turned out awesome. And so you see some pretty epic shots in that in the music video, and they're all from parts of the movie.
Again, that is totally awesome. That makes me chuckle. That makes me chuckle.
It's pretty fun.
So just out of curiosity, so you mentioned that he talked about that he wants a real rock song. Is that
Right.
the only kind of guidance he gave you, and just, hey, you go give me something, or was there anything else? Any other kind of guidelines, or here's things I do want, or just, hey, a rock song?
What he asked for was he wanted a rock song, and he wanted it kind of retro. So he said, I want it to kind of have like a 70s/80s feel to it, but then he wanted some kind of metal, in the bridge or something like that. He didn't say in the bridge. He just said somewhere in the song, I want it to really rock like hard. And so I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. So then I thought, okay, I want to have like the chorus sound like this AC/DC kind of, hell, fire, kind of a thing. And then for the verse, I was thinking like Pink Floyd or something like that. So it's kind of disco-y and it has that kind of and then on the bridge, it was just full on metal. And so I really got to kind of dip into my uh, conspiracy of slot / songhammer roots, with the whole piece. Really, it
You
was
had to get in
fun.
touch with your inner hardcore.
Yeah, well, and that's where I started. Benji Phonic is so different from these other projects in that it really funk oriented, really kind of hip hop oriented, and there's elements of rock as well, but it's just a very different project. And so but for him, and same thing with Party of Darkness that I'm working on. They want it kind of like a Boingo / kind of Van Halen-y. They like this kind of retro stuff. And so that's where the piece is going to go as well for that.
Oh, that's awesome. I
So
will say I will completely agree because when you sent me the EP, I had forgotten about conspiracy of thought, but I was thinking, okay, along the lines of Songhammer, that's kind of where I was getting in the frame of mind.
right. And then it was not that.
Wait.
Yeah. You're like, what? What is I got the
Did I download the right file? What website am I on?
yeah, it's definitely well, and also Xanadu Hellfire is more like that. So it's Benji Phonic. So I Got Old is the third EP from Benji Phonic. So in the last 4 years, I put out 3 EPs, which is pretty fast. I'm really pumping out music, and all of it is this kind of, I guess you would call it alt rock hip hop. And so there's like these kind of elements of alt rock and then a lot of hip hop elements because I wanted to do something because it's just me and I'm doing all of this kind of by myself. I do have some other singers singing with me and things like that, and other musicians are collaborating. But for performance, it's just all me. And so I wanted to do something that was where I could just be out there with tracks, just like any hip hop performance would be. And it's been great. I mean, performing that way has been fun because I'm not playing an instrument, which I always have in the past. So I'm just jumping around like an idiot,
Just having a good time. So when you go and play, so you just bring your backing tracks, they play them on over the PA,
Right.
and you're just good to go.
Yeah, it's great. I have a system that a little like a mixing board, and I have that stuff goes. It's a couple lines out, and I've got my mic, I got my mixer, all that stuff, and then I'm literally like I said, jumping around like an idiot. So I'm doing like costume changes, all kinds
Oh wow!
of changing hats and jackets, and being there. There's a song on the previous EP that's called Omega Funk 10,000, and it's called Spy versus Spy. So I put on like a black blazer and I turn into a spy, or I do, whatever. And so it's just fun. It's just me having fun.
That's cool. So did it take a little? Did it take a little bit to get used to going from playing in a band with a full band, holding an instrument, to
Right.
now it's just you? Was there a little bit of an awkwardness there at first?
Yeah, there was, because you can hide behind your instrument somewhat. I mean,
Oh yeah.
in Conspiracy of Thought and Songhammer, or in the rock opera that I did, I was very movement oriented. So like a lot of moving, a lot of jumping around, that kind of stuff. But there's still your mic stand is in one place. You're static. You're holding a guitar. With Benji Phonic, like I'm out in the audience, sometimes, and jumping around, dancing with people, doing idiotic stuff. And so I find that I have to work a little bit harder, or I feel like I have to work harder because it's just me. So, but also I get to just do anything. And so I'm, literally like sitting in people's laps, singing to them or doing stupid stuff.
Making a love ballad to somebody you don't know.
Yeah, right. This song's all about you. I just want you to know. And there's something liberating about that, and really fun, but it's also, like you said, it's a challenge, and it's a little, it can be a little scary. But once it starts, like, I'm a little nervous usually before it starts, but once it starts, I just let
You're
go
gone.
when the muse takes me. So
Whatever happens, happens, dude.
yeah, I can. Yeah, what you do at a Benji Phonic stays at a Benji Phonic concert.
Things get crazy. Oh yeah. Well, that's so. Just out of curiosity, I know you talked about a little bit that you want to do something different.
Yeah,
What was that change from because they're like you said, they're two different styles of music.
yeah, right.
Was it just okay? This is more. This sounds like it's fun. It's something that I don't know. What was that change for or about?
That's a great question, and I think you actually nailed it. Well, there were two things. One was exactly what you said was, I had done all these different styles of music. Like I had done like kind of metal alternative music with Conspiracy of Thought. With the rock opera thing, I did everything from acoustic ballads to, kind of industrial music to all these different styles, and punk rock. And then with Songhammer, it was a little bit of everything. And so, it was everything from pop music to, old school metal to, alternative music. So there was all these different things going on. And one thing I'd never really devoted myself to was like trying to do like an all hip hop project or something that was close to that. I had dabbled with it, certainly. Conspiracy of Thought did a lot of hip hop hybrid stuff. In Songhammer, we did a little bit, not a whole lot. And I just thought, this is something I haven't done. It would be a challenge, and it would be kind of fun to figure out how to do the project. And I have a huge love for old school hip hop because, like, I grew up during the 80s listening to like Run DMC and the Beastie Boys and LL Cool J and like these old school hip hop artists. And so that's all kind of in the DNA of my songwriting from way back. And so I thought, well, it would be fun to do a project that kind of really focused that way. And so that was part of it. The other part was, I'm getting old, man. And so like lifting a guitar rig and, amps and gears and, I've toured across the country. I'm too old for that now, man. I don't have somebody lifting stuff for me. So I was like, okay, what can I do where I can still jump around on stage, be a full-on idiot, have fun, write music, but, not have to lift all that stuff. And I was like, I know, I'll do a hip hop project because I don't have to lift all the gear. I don't have to do I just plug and play, I bring the mic. Maybe I have to bring a couple speakers, but it's not like all the gear and all the stuff. And so that was part of it. I was like, I want to do a project that's just going to be fun where I can do all of the recording ahead of time and just, again, be the idiot, be the clown.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd agree. And plus, it sounds like, you don't have to. Okay, I should consider myself lucky. I've played in a lot of good bands, but I've heard a lot of horror stories with just some duds. So I guess that's one thing, too. And now you don't have to worry about a lot of the drama that comes out with playing with bands.
The only dramas with myself, and sometimes it can get intense, but we try to keep it to a minimum.
We're going to take this argument outside, dude.
Yeah, all right. I've had enough of you. Well, I don't like you. Well, I don't like you either. So that's about as far as it gets.
That just makes the show more exciting.
Yeah, well, and I'm not with Benji Phonic, there are kind of different, literally hats, that I'm wearing. And so it's, I do try to put on like different personas for different songs. And so, like there's a great song that I do is called Braggadocious Rhyme, where in hip hop, especially old school hip hop, the MC was always talking about how like they were the best and everyone else was a sucker. And so Braggadocious Rhyme, the chorus is, my mama said you're a sucker MC. And I'm terrible, right? So I'm a terrible rapper. And so it's funny because I'm telling people that they're horrible, but I'm horrible. And then in the video, fun fact, but my mother is actually sitting behind me in the video. And so I'm saying, my mama said you're a sucker sucker MC, and my mom is right over my shoulder.
She's like, "Oh dear, what did I raise?"
Exactly. we filmed in a fast food restaurant, a little. It wasn't a fast food restaurant; it's a little indie like burger joint in Riverside, and so, but she's like literally right there. Super fun.
You're a sucker MC!
My riggedy rhymes are so fast, they call me supersonic. Your rhymes are so slow, can't keep up with Benji Phonic. My music is dope, they calling it the chronic. Your music's a joke, man, they call it milk and tonic. My beats are so fat, they call me Master Blaster. Your beats are so flat, they call you hip hop disaster. Come on, it's time for a brand new delicious rhyme. My mama said you're a sucker MC. My mama said you're a sucker. Yeah, verse 2, yeah, yo, check it. My diggity look is so funky, they call me Superfly. You look like a junkie, they call you Family Guy. My style is off the hook, they call me Rap Delicious. Your style is in the book, listen, rapper unambitious. My grooves are so fresh, they call me Bollywood Bionic. Your grooves are Bangladesh, third world's a Benji Phonic. Come on, it's time for a brand new delicious rhyme. My mama said you're a sucker MC. My mama said you're a sucker MC. You show me yours, and I will show you mine. My mama said you're a sucker MC. My mama said you're a sucker. My mama said you're a sucker MC. Your rap is suboptimal. Anyone can see that your style's gone flat. Your beat's not fat. You ain't rockin' no beater, so it can't go hat. Time to learn from a pro, a true rhyme master, the supersonic Benji Phonic Master Blaster. You a sucker MC, a rap disaster. Riggedy bring you to the ground, then I'll put you into pasture. Come on, it's time for a brand new delicious rhyme. My mama said you're a sucker MC. My mama said you're a sucker MC. You show me yours, and I will show you mine. My mama said you're a sucker MC. My mama said you're a sucker. Come on, it's time for a brand new delicious rhyme. My mama said you're a sucker MC. My mama said you're a sucker MC. You show me yours, and I will show you mine. My mama said you're a sucker MC. My mama said you're a sucker. My mama said you're a sucker MC. My mama said you're a sucker.
Benji breaks over.
That's what I like to hear. So if we get into your I'm Getting Old EP,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they made me chuckle, and the videos were even made me chuckle some more.
Excellent.
So if we just start with the Voices one, that one
Yeah.
made me chuckle.
This is a story of a man who's going blind, who walked with single purpose through the eddies of time. This is a story of a girl who couldn't hear, but the angels and the demons liked to whisper in her ear. They followed the white rabbit and took the red pill. They did what they were supposed to, a good Jack and Jill. But they knew the reality they made wasn't real, and the madness was nipping at their heels. I feel the shiver running up and down my spine. The thought that I might not be right inside my mind. I hear the voices calling inside my head. Demons and angels falling, voices pressure and tossed by the waves. The good boys and girls did exactly as they were told. They gained the world, but forfeit their soul. This is the story of a world that couldn't love, separated from their bodies and from the heavens above. Graceless, the wandering crowd looked for prey, and unfortunately, you were right in the way. I feel the shiver running up and down my spine. The thought that I might not be right inside my mind. I hear the voices calling inside my head. Demons and angels falling, voices are calling. I hear the voices calling inside my head. Demons and angels falling, voices are calling. I feel the shiver running up and down my spine. The thought that I might not be right inside my mind. I hear the voices calling inside my head. Demons and angels falling, voices are calling. I hear the voices calling inside my head. Demons and angels falling, voices are calling.
Yeah, that so fun fact, the music, that's one of there's two songs on that EP where music was written by the all the lyrics and melodies are written by me, but on Voices and on Rising Star, those were both musically written by DJ Coupon. So Dave Swanson, aka DJ Coupon, aka Ron Steve Craviotto. He is the owner of Love Juice Labs in Riverside, and he had these song like ideas, and he's a phenomenal songwriter. He wrote recently. He's putting out a thing called the Dave Swanson Orchestra, and it's like Queen meets Pink Floyd on steroids. And he's got like this professional violinist that's like shredding throughout all this stuff and symphonic orchestra. So it's huge. But he had written these two quirky pieces of music, and he's like, I don't know what to do. He's like, I did these in the studio. I have no clue what to do with them. Would you be interested? And I was like, I'll buy them from you. Yes, please, yes. And so he's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I'm serious. And Voices was the first one we did. And he had written this thing, and he's like, yeah, this could be this like, serious thing about this or whatever. And I was like, I think this song sounds like a crazy person is talking to them. I hear the voices calling inside my head. And so I did a rough of vocals, sent it back to him, and he's like, that isn't at all where I thought this was going. And I was like, oh, did I just ruin your song? He's like, no, I think you made it better. But I totally didn't think. And then with the other song, Rising Star, it was a similar thing. He had sent it to me, and he thought it was going to be this like quirky kind of thing. And then I brought back this, and he's like, this song is like really heartfelt, and it's not what I expected. And so I just took it in a different direction. But Voices was the first of the Dave Swanson, Benji Phonic collaborations.
Okay. So did he didn't have any lyrics. He just had the music, or in any kind of a melody line, or was it just the music and then you did the lyrics and the melody and all that?
Yeah, just the music. So he had which included, the kind of piano parts and like the cool, he did a really good orchestration of the music. And so I think the structure was different. So when he gave it to me, I hacked up the WAV file that he had sent me, reordered it, and then created, basically the verse, pre-chorus, and chorus of the song, which is, I've done collaborations with a few different people. Evan Human wrote a jazz piece that became a song called Spy versus Spy, and he sent me this long, he had written an actual jazz piece that was this like continual solo thing, but I hacked it up and turned it into parts, just like a hip hop artist would, and I sampled it and then sent it back to him and said, I destroyed your song. And he's like, no, I love it. I want you to use it. So it became, it's on the second EP. It's called Spy versus Spy. But yeah, so Dave just did the music. I did all the melodies, the singing, and all the rapping, on the song.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So then let's go into the Rising Star.
Sir, we have an unidentified transmission. Well, Sim euphonic, I guess.
5, 4, 3, 2.
All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
I once heard a journey of 1,000 miles began with a single step. Just like every life from creation to now began with a single breath. Sometimes I doubt myself and wonder if I truly belong. A discordant note in the score of our journey's winding song. You know who you are. You're a rising star, a reservoir of hope in endless seas. You know who you are. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. If the event horizon of a black hole can store information, allowing us to see the unseen, light trapped in suspended animation, then shouldn't we be able to perceive the light of a lost and hidden heart no longer beating in the dark? No, we should set it free right now! You know who you are. You're a rising star, a reservoir of hope in endless seas. You know who you are. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. We're all just lights in the night, shining for all to see. Our dreams incandescently bright, burning for you and me. All the fear and all the pain, all the doubt and all the shame, the weight we feel from all the blame can feed our sleepless nights. But all the love and all the light, the song of joy, our heart's delight, and all the acts of kindness might ignite our hopes and dreams. You know who you are. You're a rising star, a reservoir of hope in endless seas. You know who you are. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. We're all just lights in the night, shining for all to see. Our dreams incandescently bright, burning for you and me. We're all just lights in the night, shining for all to see. Our dreams incandescently bright, burning for you and me.
Now that's
Yeah.
the one. so again, so he had the music, and then you went through and
Right.
whatever your lyrics that you felt that it went with.
Sure. I played guitars on that too because I felt like it needed to have like some build, and so in the bridge or in the chorus, and there's this kind of post-chorusy bridge part that happens after the second and third last chorus. So I played the guitar. So in the video, you see that cool like white star-shaped guitar that I'm holding in the whole video, and so I used that guitar in the recording, and also I thought it was kind of spacey looking. So because I'm in outer space, I thought that's the kind of guitar a space person would use. But Dave had like that ma 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 ma, like that cool thing. He had created that, and just had created the piano parts and the drums. And so I then put guitars on top of that, again, hacked it all apart, rearranged it, and then did lyrics over it, sent it back to him and said, do you think that this is cool? Is this okay? And he was like, that I totally didn't expect, but yeah, I love it. Let's do it. And so we went into the studio and banged that one out.
That's cool. I'm not gonna lie, when that first part that you were talking about, it as soon as it came on, what came to mind was the Family Guy episode when he's got the bird part. The bird. Like at first, it caught me. I was like, "Whoa, wait, what?"
Well, and
like some B-52 stuff or something.
Yeah, right, or bird's the word or something like. Well, when I did an interview on KVCR, so it's 91.9 FM. And David Fleming, he was interviewing me. We were talking, and he said that song reminds me of like old doo-wop, and he actually played in the interview, bird's the word, and then he played mama 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 mama. He played this, and there was a lot of similarity, and it was really cool because he was like, you're like hearkening back to this really old like 50s stuff, and
back
then
when music
like
was cool
with fat drums and all this.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that one made me chuckle. I'm not gonna lie, I had a chuckle
good.
as soon as that came out.
It's supposed to. That's good.
So lyrically, what is that one about?
Rising Star.
Yeah.
So this EP is actually, even though it's there's cheesy parts and that kind of stuff, it might be the most introspective of the Benjiphonic EPs for sure. The first two were nothing but chuckly nonsense, which is fun.
They're still awesome.
But this one on songs like Voices, Rising Star, and Every Little Thing, there's a little more serious tones. And so even though the music's really fun and kind of funny, but particularly with Rising Star, we were kind of getting out of, the whole slump of COVID, and, the economy was really hit and down, and people were just I had noticed a lot of friends and a lot of people online and social media were just struggling. And so I wanted to kind of write a piece that was encouraging people and saying, hey, you're a rising star, you've got something important, and that it was trying to be an encouragement to people. And so I wanted to just kind of uplift everybody and say, hey, we're all in this together, and we're trying to get up and out. And so that was it. That was the impetus behind the lyrics.
Okay, nice. So then like we'll just move on then and talk about Every Little Thing.
At 8 I thought my world had simply fallen apart. They put me in a lab to learn language art. My mom saw the panic and the shame and the doubt. She said, son, we got a problem, we can figure it out. Kids in the class knew that something was wrong. Before I knew it, they were saying that I didn't belong. But my mom and my dad said, you got to be strong. You're gonna rise to the top, son, it won't take long. wife off to work, put some tea in my cup. There was a man on the news looking shaken and stunned. He said a plane had just collided with tower number 1, and I watched in disbelief. The second plane crashed, towers came down, raining steel and ash, and for one brief second the whole world mourned. A moment of grace in the eye of a storm. Yeah. Feel the weight of the world on you, and the pain that it put you through. But the sun's gonna rise for you. Every little thing, every little thing gonna be just fine. Every little thing, every little thing gonna be just fine. Every little thing, every little thing gonna be just fine. Every little thing. 2020, a global epidemic. The country is divided, the debate becomes polemic. Borough to borough, backyard to yard, from nation to nation, the virus hits us hard. We sunk into the rhythm of a planet distressed, cut off and isolated, toilet paper obsessed. It hits me kind of funny when I say it out loud, but you could taste the desperation and the fear in the crowd. For 12 long months, the economy dropped, social gatherings stopped, and we thought that we would pop. You'd think the global tragedy would murder the game, but we fought and rose together like a phoenix from the flame. Feel the weight of the world on you, and the pain that it put you through. But the sun's gonna rise for you. Rise for you, for you, for you. Yeah. Every little thing gonna be just fine. Every little thing, every little thing gonna be just fine. Every little thing, every little thing gonna be just fine. Every little thing,
Yeah.
Because that definitely, like you talk about, that seemed like one. What I got from it was people are always being picked on, and you talk about mom
Right.
and dad said that you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So that's that same kind of, that's what I kind of got out of that one as well.
Yeah, I think there was a definite theme between, in fact, even those 3 songs, Voices into Rising Star, and then Every Little Thing. It's almost kind of like a journey. And I didn't intend them to have any kind of connection when I wrote them, but I think that maybe I was just in a similar headspace, or maybe there was this natural progression or flow. With Every Little Thing, I did want to, again, give encouragement to people. And then also, there were these moments that in my life that I realized had happened in like these 20-year intervals. And so I was like, when I was a real little kid, I'm dyslexic. And so I ended up in learning, what they called at the time Learning Lab, which would now be like a reading resource, or even special ed in like a public school or something. But at the time they didn't have it. And so I struggled real hard with, reading, especially as a younger kid. And that was actually true all the way up through high school and even now. But I wanted to try and just talk about my journey there. And so I started there. Well, 20 years later, when I'm, in my mid-20s, 9/11 happens. And so that was a personal thing. That was me struggling and dealing. Well, then 9/11, that's like a national thing. I mean, that everyone in our country experienced the same thing at the same time. And it was this tragedy that brought us all together. And, regardless of outcomes, it was like this seminal moment that we kind of experienced. Then 20 years later, COVID happens. and that's not just our country, it's the whole world is experiencing this. And so now we're relating to the same things that are happening in Japan, that are happening in Australia, that are happening in Europe or Africa or South America, North America. And so I wanted to kind of show this very singular moment with me, then this national moment where everybody experienced this thing together, and then this global moment. And they're all moments that are struggles or hard, but in the end, things right themselves and things, come to balance again. And so I was saying, hey, every little thing's going to be all right. Every little thing's going to be just fine, but we go through the struggle, we go through the fight, we go through the hard time, but we also work to pick one another up and help each other to get up and out.
All right. So yeah, one thing, I just want to talk with you a little bit about what you had said about that you were in the reading lab. Because that's one thing. I had that all the way up through high school. I never had a real English class.
Yeah, it was similar. I was mainstreamed basically in high school, but it wasn't until high school, and even then I struggled hard.
Is there I'd say at the beginning I didn't really my mom and the principal had a meeting. Oh, well, he doesn't read well. He's blah blah blah. And I just thought, nah, class is just stupid. That was my thing. It wasn't until later in life that I realized it, but it seemed like a mess. In my experience, like, for example, one year, what they decided to do was, because I had bad grades, and especially when it came to anything that had to do with reading, any of the social studies or definitely English. So what they're like, you know what? I have no idea what they're thinking, but I think this was in 7th grade. They just took everybody that had bad grades and put us all in the same class. So you had us who we just need a little bit extra.
Right.
With the dudes that fought all the time, the ones that sell drugs, the ones that were always getting expelled. And then not that they didn't have a trained professional to teach us.
It was like prison.
It was the gym teacher. It was literally the gym teacher. And so, it just seems like there was a lot of kids that struggled.
Yeah.
But they didn't know what to do with us. It's not like they didn't help us, but they wanted to, but didn't. It just, right. I don't know, a lot of it, I don't know, I'm just curious on your experience is there things that you've done in life to try and not really overcome it, but okay, I'm going to function and make a different way to do things?
Yeah, no, 100%. And actually, you experienced what I experienced. I was up in Lake Arrowhead, so I grew up in the mountains in Lake Arrowhead, Southern California, and they at the time had what they called the Learning Lab, and that's why I say in the song they put me in a lab to learn language arts. And at the time, reading was reading, writing, anything like that was called language arts, and so. I got put in there, and it was a catch-all class, just like you're talking about. It wasn't necessarily just, thugs or whatever. It was anyone that had any kind of learning handicap. And that went actually all the way to there were kids with Down syndrome that were in that class. There were kids with, ADD, but there were also kids with extreme autism in the class. So I was in this learning lab with the whole gambit of anyone that had a need of any kind. And I think it's because it was such a small district and a small school. And so it was all of us. And so it was a motley crew of, just everybody, like you said. And so, and as you well know, there's always the stigmatism. So when you go back to your regular class, or you're dealing with other kids, there's the picking on, and there's all that kind of stuff that goes with it. And so all the way up through junior high, I was like you, removed for English, history, stuff like that. And then in high school, I basically just begged to go mainstream. My parents okayed it. And my grandparents read textbooks for me into cassette tapes. My mom read like stories or textbooks or things like that, for me, just so that I could get homework done. Because, like, as you probably well know, doing regular class homework, trying to get it done, especially if you can't read quickly, if they're like, read a chapter tonight or whatever, and then we talk about it the next day, well, reading a chapter, if that's 20 pages or 30 pages, like it's going to take me hours.
Yep.
And so,
Yep.
so I was like, I'm never going to do this. And so my parents, thank God, were like, okay, well, we'll read to you. And my grandparents were like, if you can get your book report books and all that ahead of time, we'll read them. So it was like getting a book on tape, and so, or book on CD, like an Audible book. And so my grandmother is reading, 1984, or A Brave New World, or whatever, Aldous Huxley, all the books that are banned right now. So Huckleberry Finn, all this stuff, because that was required reading at the time. And so that's what got me through, really. But I did experience, the cage match that you experienced. And
Yeah. You're
again,
just like, what a mess, man. Oh my goodness.
school districts are so much more prepared now. It's so much better. The bass player for Conspiracy of Thought, Mike Parshall, he's been a special ed teacher at Colton High School for 20 years, more than 20 years. And it's great because they have so many resources now with kids with autism. There's different classes, and there's resources and help. Now, if they're able to label, problems better. And so, like, if you have dyslexia, if you have a math, deficiency or whatever it might be, there's better resources now, and they have specialists and people to work with. But when you and I were in school, they were rolling the dice, man.
Yep.
At least that's what I felt like at the time.
Yeah,
So-
well, I think like the big one that got me, the worst one. So I think the smorgasbord class, I want to say that was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Because I think it was 7th grade, they didn't really have a class figured out. And so what the counselor lady's like, okay, what you're going to do is you're just going to go to class, and then we're going to come and get you.
Right.
I'm just like, son of a bitch. Because
Yeah.
every time they would do it, you'd walk into class, sit down, everyone's getting out their notes, and I'm just sitting here.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, door opens, everybody looks. Jeff Ravston,
Yeah.
you got to get up. What? And everyone's staring at you the whole time, and you're just
Oh,
like,
yeah. No, I have a feeling that part of my extroverted behavior, well, and definitely, so when I was in high school, because I wasn't in the resource lab, I was in the mainstream class, but then you're supposed to be reading like Shakespeare with everybody. Well, so I ended up, like, my senior year, I was voted the class clown because I started misbehaving because I was trying to hide my disability. And so it turned into a free for all for me in class. And so it was detrimental to me. I should have done something different, but I think that part of my desire to perform and also to do what I do probably has a direct correlation to being dyslexic and to experiencing what I did. But it also means I'm not embarrassed by anything. And so I at this point, I can get up on stage and, do whatever and have a blast. And, there's some freedom there because I did get pulled out just like you did, and so I can be a clown. I can wear, a all gold suit in a music video or when I'm performing, I can do whatever. And I don't care because,
awesome.
I've experienced such hard situations and such judgment in these other areas that kind of I became Teflon somewhere along the line.
Well, yeah, shout out to your parents for helping you out. Because, even now at 45 years old, yeah, I still struggle with reading. Like I said, if I can find anything to either watch a video or listen to it, I'm going to gain so much more out of it than if I read, I'm like, you read for 10 minutes and you go, I don't even know what I just read.
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah. For me, decoding was the big thing. I didn't see things backwards. I didn't have, those kind of issues. I had friends that did. but just decoding, it's like I have to teach myself how to read over and over and over again. And so I can read better now than I used to. And I do love to read. I love fantasy books. I'm reading right now again, the Dresden Files, which is this huge book series by Jim Butcher. And I love it, but it takes me so long to read. Like my wife, she can finish like a book in like a day and a half or 2 days. Like, oh, and I'm like, holy crap, this book, I'm still on this book for the last month and a half. So yeah, I'm with you. It's hard.
All right. Well, I mean, you can't really see them back there, but that collect shelf back there, that's the books. And most of it's either church books or music theory.
Yeah, right. Hey, I love it.
And half of them, yep. I have a question. That's it. I don't know. Anyway, that's awesome. I mean, it's good to see. I mean, not good that you struggled, but it's good to see that something came out of it and that you didn't let it keep you down.
Yeah, I think it's positive. In the end, I mean, hey, you're a musician as well, and you know that. I think that what we lack, we gain in something else. Yeah. And that's true, I think, for everybody, you know, where you're weak in one area, you might become strong in another. And so that's good.
Totally awesome. All right. So if we come back to your album, another song that made me chuckle was Falling in Love. Well, the song was the song, but the video was the videos that made me chuckle.
Crowded gloom, DJ spins and the bass goes boom. Bingo bend my 9 to plume. We lock eyes from across the room. It's love. I wanted you banned from the night we met. I'm all in, no regret. Dance all night, drenched in sweat. Stealing a kiss every chance I get. It's love. Stealing a kiss every chance I get. Late nights, kissing in cars, rendezvous, au revoir. The high school dance, that was ours. We saw 15 shooting stars. It's love. I said I wanna marry your girl sometime. I'll be hers, she'll be mine. He said, boy, you're out of your mind. Now I got another tall mountain to climb. It's love. Crowded gloom, DJ spins and the bass goes boom. Bingo bend my 9 to plume. We lock eyes from across the room. It's love. I wanted you banned from the night we met. I'm all in, no regret. Dance all night, drenched in sweat. Stealing a kiss every chance I get. It's love. To the
I when I wrote the song, I had the video was in my head, and so I was writing it, and I'm just thinking I could totally see this thing playing out, and it would be fun, to try and well. And here, fun fact: the song is mostly true, and it's about my wife and I. So my wife and I met in high school and started dating when I was a sophomore in high school, and so and we did break up, just like in the video, So in the quick story of the video is, these kids go to a dance and they start dancing with each other. And this dude brings like a flower. He finds the girl. He gives it to her. They're dancing. They're having a good time. Some other girl cuts in, tries to distract, and the girl walks away brokenhearted. And they don't see each other again until their high school reunion, And it's the same thing that happens all over again. Well, with my wife and I, we did when we first started dating. We went to the high school dances, and at the time that was cool, and so we danced. And I was an idiot, and like I said with the dyslexia thing, I didn't care what people thought about me, so I was out there
just having a gay old time.
And apparently it worked because it endeared her heart to me. And so the lyrics in the song are actually really specific about our journey. And we did break up a couple times, got back together, and ended up getting married. And in the end, and so, but with the video, I wanted to have this kind of a do-over. They break up. It ends before it could really begin, and then in their high school reunion, they meet, and it's the same people, and they fall in love all over again, and they win. So that was and I'm glad it makes you chuckle, because that was the hope.
So who's the totally awesome DJ in there?
That would be my man. And actually, if you watch the Braggadocious Rhyme video, the one where my mom's sitting behind me, there's two dancers. One's Mia Mercado, and the other is Bruce McLaughlin. And Bruce is he's one of like the dancers. He's also the one who says Benji. He's my coworker in the video, and he did such an awesome job with that I contacted him again and said, Bruce, you want to be the DJ? And I said, let me tell you about it. He's like, no, you had me at Bruce. I'll do anything, whatever it is. And so he came in, and he was my DJ.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Right. He's pointing at the kids, and he's phenomenal. He does. He works for Universal during like the Fright Nights and the stuff that's there, and he's a zombie sometimes. And he works for Mazes, and he does bit acting work. I mean, he's all over. He's great. He's very good.
Good times. Yeah. So what's next for Benji Phonics? What do you got in the works going with you?
So the next project, I'm working on 3 different things. I have a few Benji Phonics songs that are for the next EP that I'm working on right now. And then I am doing, which I mentioned before, I'm doing the theme song for Party of Darkness. So it's going to be an independent film. And so that's in the works. And then I'm also doing a collaboration with another artist named Chris Jones. There's a radio station called Music Mafia Radio. It's an online radio station, and it is phenomenal, the amount of talent they got. And they play everything from country rock to hillbilly music to full-on metal and alt rock to me, to like, funk and urban music and hip hop. And so this station, and all of it is good. And they have a top 30 that they do every week. And it's like the best of the best. And it's incredible and it's all independent musicians. And these guys are phenomenal, like these other groups. And Chris Jones has a band called the Chris Jones Band. And he's from like the Seattle area. He's up, and his music is kind of has that, Seattle vibe to it. It's very rock.
Kind of like Pearl Jam, whatever.
Yeah, kind of, but no, a little bit heavier than that. So maybe more like Soundgarden-y, kind of bluesy, Sabbathy, really cool stuff. And anyway, he had said he wanted to do a collaboration with me, and like him doing kind of rockin' stuff. And he wrote a song called "Dance Gravy," and it's about a dude going into a club and just getting down, and it's this kind of he wrote it as like a metal type song that he thought would be funny if I rapped on. But he sent me the tracks and asked if I would produce it. And so I'm in the middle of production with it right now, and it's a full-on like rock disco song. And so I turned it and I sent back like a demo of it. He's like, "That is not where I thought this was going, but I love it. Do it." And
Things got real weird real quick.
Yeah, right. Yes. I said, "You did send this to me after all." But I put, techno drums in there, and we got keyboards going. A guy named Raymond Hayden, who's in a band called Grieve the Astronaut and Strangely All Right. He's doing stuff. A country artist that Chris works with named Jessica Lynn Whitty. She heard the song and said, "Oh, you please let me sing on this." We're like, "All right, come on in." So then she sent me everyone's sending me tracks, and I'm mad scientist, trying to put all the hacking stuff together, and it's turned into a beast of a song. It's really fun. And so I'm a couple of weeks out of finishing a mix, and then I'm gonna take some of that to DJ Coupon at Love Juice, and we're gonna tweak it around and then put that out. And so I have another song called The Crossroads that I'm going to reverse collaborate. So I've written that, and I want Chris Jones to do vocals and some singing for me. So we're going to do, I don't know, maybe 2, could be more songs as a collaboration, and they're turning out fun.
Now, are you guys going to do a video for those too, or just release the songs?
I already talked to Chris. I'm like, "Dude, this song is like screaming for a music video, and it would be funny and stupid and awesome." And so we're talking about how we can figure out either filming in different locations, or maybe I will, do a crazy trip up north and we'll do some filming, and maybe we'll do a performances together, and then we'll film a video in the meantime. But yeah, we're definitely, however we work it out, there's going to be a music video for Dance Gravy. It's going to be good. And then I also have I have 2 songs already recorded and mixed for the next EP, Benjiphonic EP. So I'm going to keep working on that during the summer as well. But this summer is primarily going to be the collaboration. Oh, and I'm also doing a covers album. I have 2 songs completed for, and I'm doing like old 80s, like, so It Takes Two by Rob Bass. So it takes 2 to make a thing go right. It takes 2 to make it out. I want to rock right now. I'm Benjiphonic and I came to get down. So I'm doing this, and so it's old like hip hop and R&B stuff from like the late 80s and early 90s. And so I'm going to just do an EP of nothing but cheesy, awesome covers.
Totally awesome.
So a lot, apparently.
Yeah, it sounds like you got all your hands full there.
Yeah, I'm working on it, man. Because I have this incredible benefactor being my wife, who was a public school teacher and my number one supporter, and she allows me to do what I do, and then I on the side do remodels and have done some property work and different things like that, but my heart is all in making music. And because I can do it from home, I'm doing it all the time.
Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear, because it's some good music. Hey, yeah,
thank you.
We'll throw those videos in there.
Yeah, please. Awesome. Hey, and thank you so much for doing the interview.
Al, thank you for coming. Yeah, my whole goal, because I don't know, I've told other people this. It's I've heard 311 interviews, I've heard Pantera interviews, but no one knows they're local musicians. No one really knows who they are. And when I started playing drums in '92. I mean, I've met a lot of good musicians that, one, musically they're good, but then they're just fun people that they're doing all this crazy stuff and no one really ever knows about them. So I appreciate you for coming on and telling your story. And that's because that's the whole point of it. Just get to know people and they're funny stories.
I think that's super cool. Well, and again, I appreciate you doing it. Well, Jeff, what was the first musical project that you heard of that I was doing?
So it was Songhammer. So that was the first one. Because I remember and maybe I'll put that picture that we have on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just remember we were walking around with David Nam, and he's like, we got to take a picture. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah. These guys right here.
And at first I was like, okay, this is... I didn't like at first I was like, okay, did they just kind of dress up this way for Nam? He's like, no, dude, they're legit. I'm like, all right, cool. And then, because then I think later on, it somehow talking with Dave, we connected the conspiracy of thought thing somehow. Because I remember something about that. So the song Hammer was the first one that I had seen.
That's cool.
So and it just made me laugh.
The NAMM show was so much fun. I went to NAMM and met with some of the Music Mafia radio artists that were from New York, actually, and so we got together this year and like had dinner and hung out, but we were telling stories about NAMM, and I was explaining to them about Songhammer, and I said it was crazy. Like people like Vernon Reed would like come up and say, "Oh, can I get a picture with you?" Not, we want to take a picture with you. You are a legend. You're living color. You're, the best thing ever. No, and Vernon, this was a real story. And Vernon's like, dude, I got to get a picture with you guys. And so we take a picture. Henry Rollins is walking. He just stops and he's like, okay, this is happening right now. He's like, and so we're taking a picture, and we're like all growling and whatever. And I remember looking at Henry, and he's smiling, and I'm like, Henry, you got to get your, Henry Rollins face on.
We need our angry face.
I can't stop smiling, man. He says, but it was, that was the joy, of the project.
Oh yeah, that would just crack me up. I say, every now and then, or I guess every year, that picture pops up as a memory. And it just makes me chuckle.
Yeah, well, and I feel so blessed to have, to get to be in, these projects that keep doing, fun, wacky, cool stuff. And, I don't know. I'm really thankful to be, doing music still.
Well, so am I. I'm grateful you're doing it because it's made me chuckle.
We got to stick in this together. Awesome. Well, Jeff, man, is there anything else I can do for you, or is there anything that you need?
Oh no. I mean, hey, you got anyone that wants to join me? It's just I just find anyone that I can that does music, any kind of producer, I'm a musician.
Yeah. Well, I can guarantee that I can throw some very cool bands your way that do a lot of different styles of music that are connected again through some of the internet and indie stations that have been playing Benji Phonic. And if you don't mind, I'll send them your way. Oh yeah,
hey, heck yeah! Except for country, I have a hard time with country.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's interesting. I was like, country wasn't. It was never been my thing. Although with did I send you the "God's Gonna Cut You Down" video?
I think you did.
So there was a movie called The Whittler, which isn't out yet, but I scored the movie, and then they also not only did I do all the music, they wanted that a cover of that song as the theme song for the movie, and I had never written country before, but it was a cover, so it helped me. But I can play with a slide guitar and things like that, and so I ended up doing it, and I was like, okay, I can do this. And the song got some attention and got radio play, and stations picked it up, and then on Music Mafia Radio, I started hearing these country bands, and they're only country because of the singer. All the rest of the music is just like Van Halen, or it's like rock music. It's insane guitar solos, really, distortion on the guitars, thick, huge drums. So I'm starting to learn that like new country isn't country like we know it. It's like pop music or it's full on like dirt rock. and so they're like, I wasn't really a big fan of country, but there's several groups now that I'm like liking and following that I never thought I would because of that radio station. It's crazy.
So do you have a steel guitar, or do you play it?
No, not steel guitar. So I the slide that I work on is all with just my guitars now. And so if I'm going to do like slide work, I'll do it like an open tuning or something like that. So like the whole guitar is tuned to G or whatever. So I can do some cool slide work with the guitar.
Because I've got a double necked one here. My dad's from back in the 50s, or I guess he was born in the 40s. Yeah, I keep thinking maybe one day I'm going to restring it, but yeah, it's kind of cool.
What make is it? What kind of guitar?
Oh, I don't know. Hold on. It's old. Just a minute.
Oh, it's a lap. Is it a lap steel?
Yeah.
It's a double neck lap steel.
Made by Serpo.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I guess my dad played it or something like that when he was a kid, or his mom made him.
Yeah, and you play a lap steel with a basically a slide,
I think I used to have them.
He probably has. It's probably in the case.
No, the case is falling apart, so probably missing half of it.
The slides are gone.
But if you need a steel slide guitar,
art. Ben Harper is really good with lap steel. If you hear his stuff, when you hear the slide guitar, he's playing usually on a lap steel guitar like that.
Yeah. There you go.
It's a whole different art form.
Yeah, I can't. I tried it one time. Nope.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's not easy. I don't think it's easy. But I usually I have mostly I have electric guitars. All my guitars are like the ones from Songhammer and Conspiracy of Thought. So they're all like crazy shapes and all this
metal, some BC Riches.
They're all metal. The BC Rich. Yeah, and then I have the Gibson Explorer and the that kind of stuff. And so but I do have an acoustic guitar as well, but I record with everything. I use it all when I'm recording.
Well, awesome.
Even Benjiphonic. So Songhammer was sponsored by Line 6, and so I have this great pod that was given to me. It's one of the big, full pedal board systems, and I've created some really funky sounds and tones that work for the Benjiphonic project. And so I, run the bass through talk boxes or through things like that. And so it's really fun, to create. And there's a guitar synth on there as well. So some of the horns, some of the organs, some of the stuff that you would normally think were played on a keyboard are on guitar, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. Well, thanks for joining me. This has been awesome. Maybe we'll have to check in next time you do your EP and go through another group of songs.
Awesome. Jeff, you're the best, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good night. Thank you.
All right. You too, brother. Bye-bye.
Bye.
God bless those lazy days. 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 It's just another lazy kind of day. Fun in the sun, chasing the clouds, no need to run. Castles in the sand at the beach on the weekend. Laughing by the pool, cannonballs in the deep end. We gon' dance in the city all night. The party doesn't stop until the dawn breaks light. Drive back home as the day's begun. Sunrise kissed by the California sun. Top down, fun in the sun. Another sweet song, another hard one. Day tripping, just slipping away. This is how we do on those lazy days. God bless 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 those lazy days. This is how we do on those lazy days. Sunsets, a walk in the woods, rolling real slow. slow, girl, you know it's all good. Southern California in the spring, no equal. Top down drive with the Beatles and the Eagles. Cruising on Victoria Ave, reminiscing about all the good times we had. Then we head to the crib in the Riverside Hills. Lights down low, Netflix and chill. Top down, fun in the sun. Another sweet song, another hot one. Day tripping, just slipping away. This is how we do on those lazy days. God bless those lazy days. God bless those lazy days. God bless those lazy days. This is how we do on those lazy days. This is how we do on those lazy days.
Top down in the sun, cruising the one, it's second to none. My heart is filled with lazy melodies. Come take a ride on the breeze.
Top down, fun in the sun. Another sweet song, another hot one. Day tripping, just slipping away. This is how we do on those lazy days. Top down, fun in the sun. Another sweet song.